Now, the death toll from devastating landslides in southern Ethiopia has risen to 257. The United Nations is warning that the number could rise as search and recovery operations continue. BBC Africa's Kalikdan Nibatal sent this report from Gofa at the site of the landslides, and a warning: you may find some of the images distressing.
Grief has reigned over these lush mountains in Ethiopia's southern district of Gofa. Families here have lost loved ones in the deadliest disaster the area has seen in decades. 2 landslides in consecutive days have claimed more than 200 lives. And many people here are mourning. Others, like you see here, are still looking for their missing loved ones. Among those affected is Masalech Gosai. Her husband and 2 children were among the first people on site, digging through the mud to find those missing. Sadly, they were buried in the mud when the second landslide hit.
I saw people pulling out a body from the debris. It was my husband, but his face was unrecognizable. So to be sure, I checked his pocket and I found his ID card. He was still holding the axe he used to dig through the mud to help those who were affected by the first landslide.
One of her sons was also confirmed dead. The other is still missing. Her story is echoed by many families here. Sarawit and his brother lived in a nearby town. Their parents' home was destroyed by the landslide.
4 bodies were buried there. 2 have been retrieved, but my father's and half-brothers are still missing. Sadly, my relatives are not helping me because they also have to look for their own family members.
Several areas in southern Ethiopia, including this one, have been identified by the UN to be at risk of extreme weather events like flooding and landslide. Tackling that issue is going to be a huge question for the authorities in the coming months and even years. Alkidan Ibeltal, BBC News, Gofa.
Typhoon Gaemi has made landfall in northeastern Taiwan. It's the strongest storm to hit the island in 8 years. Officials say 2 people have been killed and hundreds more injured. The authorities in mainland China have issued a red alert for parts of southeastern coastlines threatened by the storm.
The expansion of the ultra-low emission zone is working better than predicted, according to a new City Hall report. London's air quality continues to improve at a faster rate than the rest of England. Exhaust emissions from cars in outer London are estimated to be 22% lower than without the expansion, with a 53% reduction in non-compliant vehicles in just under a year. City Hall Conservatives said millions had been spent on a minimal reduction in pollution.
Good morning, both. Good morning to you too. It's a cloudy start to the day. It's also quite murky and dank out towards the west. But one thing we'll all notice this morning is the humid start, and it's going to remain humid through the course of the day, with some of us seeing some rain.
Oh, Carol, I was going to say I'm not going to do what I've been doing for the last, I don't know, 6 weeks, when summer, thinking, oh, yeah, you'll get a picture of some bright sunshine, and then you got that.
Well, actually, the next few days after today aren't looking too bad in terms of sunshine, Naga. And as we head from Sunday into next week, temperatures are actually going to rise across many parts of the UK. But this morning, it's a humid start to the day. It's a cloudy one as well. Out towards the west, it's quite murky, but if you're just stepping out, these are the kind of temperatures that you can expect. Good morning, Charlie Naga. Good morning to you too. It's a fairly cloudy start to the day, murky out towards the west with some low clouds, some drizzle, some misty conditions as well.
How you look like you're ready to go frolicking in a field.
That would be nice, Naga. Good morning, everybody. This morning is a cloudy start to the day if you haven't yet been out. It's also a humid one. There's some murky conditions as well, and the humidity is going to stay with us all day, even into Monday in the early part of next week. For most of us, it's going to be dry. The weather front's trying to get into the northwest. At times, we'll introduce some rain, some breezier conditions, pull further south, and you can see it's going to be drier, it will be sunny, and it's also going to be warm. But you remember I was telling you that the weather front that is crossing us will bring in fresh air behind it. As it leaves our shores, it's going to move over towards France. So it may well affect the Paris Olympics opening ceremony on Friday. These are the kind of temperatures you can expect. We could catch an odd shower from this before it passes through, but it could still be a fairly cloudy affair. But fingers crossed, it will remain dry.
Where are you frolicking this time? You were frolicking in a field last time. Now where? Morning.
Well, thank you. Good morning, Naga. We are frolicking in Devon this morning, and you can see the amount of cloud. It's murky, it's dank, especially so in western parts of the country.
Hiya, thank you, Ben. Well, it doesn't look quite so summery here, does it? Now, the air is still muggy and humid. There's an awful lot of moisture in it. It's led to lots of low clouds, mist and murk, particularly for these western-facing coasts. But we do have some changes on their way. Drier, brighter conditions and the sunshine a lot more evenly shared out as we head through Friday and beyond. And for some of us, it will be turning warmer.
Good afternoon. It has been a largely cloudy day so far, grey skies across the board, but it has actually felt quite warm. It's quite a sticky day, it's humid. We've had outbreaks of rain as well, and largely through this afternoon. This rain should start to shift away eastward. We can't rule out the odd spot of rain, some patchy rain, but the cloud thinning for some, breaking even for others.
Hello, thank you, Ben. Yes, it's cloudy. There's an awful lot of low cloud around, particularly towards these western coasts today. It's still muggy and humid feeling, of course, as well. We have had some sunshine, and some of the best of that has been towards the east of high ground. It's in rather short supply, I'll give you that, but a slice of sunshine really stretching from the Midlands right up to parts of Lincolnshire, actually.
Hello again. Well, it's certainly been rather grotty and muggy across the capital throughout today. The good news is we lose the humidity as we move into Friday, so when we do get any sunshine, it's actually going to feel rather pleasant out there, but there's still a chance of the odd shower.
Hi there, Jane. Picture behind me really tells the story of the summer, doesn't it? Quite a lot of cloud, a bit really. We have seen some showery rain as well today. Sunshine has been very, very limited indeed. A little more on its way as we go towards the weekend.
So it's not a great day today, was it? Very grey.
It was grey.
Yeah.
It was really not very summer-like, was it, Assad? Unfortunately, a lot of grey cloud and thick enough at times for the odd spot or two of rain. But there's an improving picture, and if you want summer sunshine and warmth, I've got some on offer as we head into next week. So a rather grey story in King's Cross.
Hello there, good evening. The air still muggy and humid throughout today. Lots of moisture in it, some misty, murky conditions, lots of low cloud, particularly towards western-facing coasts and hills. Some sunny spells at times, most of those to the east of high ground, but the sunshine tomorrow will be a lot more abundant. The air feeling fresher and less humid.
It's been another grey and gloomy day today, hasn't it? But hopefully I can put a little bit of colour back into your evening with the weather forecast for the next few days.
And Ruth is in Cardiff's Butte Park for us this evening. It looks a little bit grey. Ruth?
It certainly is, Lucrezia. Yes, welcome to Butte Park, right slap bang in the heart of Cardiff City. What makes this place so special is that the capital, the hustle and bustle city life is effectively just behind those trees. But here it feels like a million miles away, the peace and the quiet. This is 130 acres of wildlife, of wildflowers, of trees, as I said, of peace and tranquility. What the weather is lacking in terms of colour, we are more than making up for here. The wildflowers and landscape gardens are just absolutely beautiful, really nourishing for the soul. And as I've been saying, quite frankly, we could do with that, couldn't we? Because the weather doesn't feel as if it's very much been on side recently. And of course, the big question is this going to change? Because quite frankly, you could be forgiven for wondering what on earth has happened to our summer. Well, if we take a little look at the bigger picture, the Atlantic sequence, and run it through, it gives you a flavour of the next few days. And then a another ridge of high pressure brings something slightly more settled for the end of the weekend and into the start of next week too. So it is a little bit of a bumpy old ride over the next few days, but then that's summer for you. So let's take a look at exactly what we can expect in a little more detail. Yes, come on, a summer sunshine. As far as the setup is concerned for the next few days, sunshine and showers very much sums it up. After tonight, temperatures feeling just that little bit fresher. And as I just mentioned, the weekend very much of two halves with an unsettled start and then something more cheerful for Sunday. It's just all very typical, isn't it? The minute schools break up, summer holidays happen, and frankly, the weather doesn't seem to get the memo. But there's still plenty of summer left, so who knows? There is plenty of time for things to improve. We'll certainly keep you posted.
Carol, I know you love your job and you love all aspects of the weather, even when it's boring, right? But...
Boring?
Well, you know what I mean, when nothing's, like, happening. But the point is, I suppose, it's good when it's boring because we've seen so many kind of extreme weather events in the UK, and there's this latest report that's taking a look at this as well. But although it might be exciting at the time, it is still concerning, isn't it?
It is. Climate change is real, Naga. We all know that. And, of course, with more extreme weather, it leads to more extreme influences, the results of that. So when we've got very high temperatures, you know, warmer air holds more moisture, we get more rain. Heavier rain leads to flooding. It affects infrastructure. It affects so many different elements of our lives. And, you know, what is a normal summer these days? You have to ask the question, is it what we thought it was in the olden days, which is, you know, high pressure across us, it's sunny, it's warm, and then we change seasons. The seasons are more blended this time. One kind of blends into the other. So what is summer anymore?
Yeah, exactly. I'll keep asking you that question, though, because you'll find out the answer, I'm sure. Carol, thank you.
Thanks, Megan.
Yes, Carol was talking some of those extreme weather events. So what we have today is the annual State of the Climate report from the Met Office, warning some of the effects of global warming and now being felt more widely than ever before.
Now, our climate editor, Justin Rowland, is joining us now in the gorgeous setting of Sutherland. But despite the... I mean, it is beautiful there, Justin, but we're seeing these places in different ways now and with untraditional or untypical type weathers.
We certainly are, although I have to say it has been an absolutely stunning morning here. Beautiful sunshine. Got the Moray Firth over here, beautiful Dunrobin Castle, the seat of the Duke of Sutherland behind me there. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, this report from the Met Office is telling us that the warming trend that we're all aware of now is continuing and pushing out the extremes of temperature, extreme hot temperatures and also rain as well. At the same time, I should say, we've seen an increase in the number of pleasant days, 40% up on the 3 decades from 1960. Pleasant days, according to the Met Office, are those with temperatures above 20 degrees Celsius. Maybe hard to believe where you are elsewhere in the country that we're getting those days. We're also seeing 9% more sunshine compared to the 3 decades from 1960. But the worrying thing, exactly as Carol said, is this rapid increase, in fact, in the frequency of extreme weather events. Take a look at this. The single most dramatic weather event of 2023 was Storm Barbette. It barreled in October, bringing a deluge that soaked much of the country and is an example of the uptick in the rainiest of weather the Met Office has identified. These maps show how the frequency of really wet days has increased since the 1960s. Look at this. In the last 10 years, we've seen 20% more days with the heaviest rainfall in an average year. But it is the increase in really hot weather that stands out from the data. Look at this map. It shows how in the 30 years from 1961, only London and Hampshire recorded an average of 6 or more days with temperatures over 28 degrees Celsius in a year. The Met Office describes these as hot days. Spin forward to the last 10 years and virtually the whole of England and Wales now gets that many hot days every year, while the South East now experiences an average of over 12 days above 28 Celsius every year. And there is much more evidence of this warming trend. The new report confirms 2023 was the second warmest year on record for the UK. It had the hottest June ever recorded in the country and the joint warmest September.
The statistics from the observations in this report really speak for themselves, that our climate is not just going to change in the future, it is already changing right now.
It is the increasingly frequent weather extremes that have the biggest impact on all of us. Our increasingly hot weather stretches our healthcare systems as vulnerable people fall ill. It damages our infrastructure and it disrupts our daily lives. And what's really striking is, as you heard in my report, the increase in the number of record-breaking temperatures that we've experienced, hot temperatures. So the Met Office says this has rapidly accelerated. So we're seeing many more record-breaking hot temperatures now than we did before. And what's really interesting is we're seeing virtually no new records for cool temperatures. So again, that pattern of extreme temperatures increasing. And that, as Carol said earlier, so worrying for ecosystems. I mean, look around me, the beautiful ecosystem that we see around me here has evolved to live in a certain climate and finds it very difficult to handle both the extreme hot temperatures and the extremely wet temperatures. Worrying report from the Met Office today.
Justin, for the moment, thank you very much.
Stunning, isn't it, there?